Go ahead, Tweet News.
I would say two things. First of all, the post that Tim Pool put out on the 7th of December saying what happened. Now, if you look at the bottom of the post, he's put his location where you can add your location to a post. Tim has never done that before, ever. Now, Tim obviously works very hard to keep privacy because he's prominent. He's where he lives. I saw that and went, why is he posting and adding his location, which the gentleman in the audio that was calling the sheriff's department is completely a different location to where he's tagged his posting. Now, if you go and look at any other post, he's never put his location on there. Just going to throw that out there. And the other thing as well, and I'll be very cautious how I say this, the Benny Johnson thing, Matt Walsh and Cat Turd, who had the person threatening them, apparently the guy's been arrested. Benny Johnson shouted out an account who has ruffled your feathers before in the past, because he was responsible for helping capture and identify the individual, and so on and so forth. So Benny Johnson, one of the one of the more chaotic accounts on the Conservative side of things, saying thank you very much for helping with the situation. But that's all the two things, because I know that Clint's probably got.
I mean, the location thing, I feel like is it has nothing to fucking do with anything.
It probably doesn't, but I've just added it in there to my previous points that are on the space going, maybe there's a little chicanery going on here, because he's never added his location to a post, only that post. But Clint, please tell me I'm right or wrong, I don't know, because Clint knows.
He's talking about Tim, Coyote, he's not talking about the guy.
Yeah, I was talking about Tim.
Go ahead, Clint.
Yeah, I don't want to rain on the conspiracy parade here because I know it's fun, but and personally, I don't know Benny Johnson, and I get bad vibes from him. So as far as him, he doesn't address my those claims, and he just puts himself in victim status. I do know Tim really well. I personally have, I've been to the property a dozen times, probably done the show at least that many times, and it's like I just don't. I personally, well, first off, the security issues didn't happen. My guess would be that the property isn't owned in his name just for security purposes. So, and I doubt he would have called it in because he said that he wasn't home. So it would have been a security guard that called it in. So when people are saying, is there any reports from Tim Pool? It's like, well, no, there wouldn't have been. So I don't think that's.
But the question was if there was there any gunfire reports at all?
Exactly, on that day.
Sure. No, sure. And that is weird. I only heard a portion of that. Was that
it's the last post I put up. It's up in the Jumbotron as well. But and they said no, and then he called the sheriff, and he said the sheriff, the last call, the gunfire that they had was weeks ago. In general, not just specifically for Tim Pool, was weeks ago, and it was for a murder that occurred in a town, in an adjacent town.
What was the town?
I would have to go back and listen to the clip again, but it was just like it's a county sheriff, so their jurisdiction is the entire county. That's not in an incorporated town, right?
No, I understand that. The reason I'm asking is because Tim's properties are very rural, and if the person, I don't know, I don't even know what the county is that I'm at when I do Tim's show. So, but my guess is, there's a chance that he didn't even have the right. District or county or whatever.
If I had to guess, like I said, I would say that there were probably his posts in the let me just, what I'm saying, like it's just when he made his post. I'm trying to pull it up here to the Milo thing, right? He says, last night a vehicle. This is 8 million views. Okay, last night a vehicle approached our property and opened fire. No one was hurt. Our security team is reviewing the incident and will be relaying the reports to appropriate law enforcement. This is the price we pay for speaking out against evil. No inclination that he wasn't there. No inclination that it wasn't like there's no evidence, right? Nothing like that. No decision there at all. And so it's a super virtue signaling post. And then his next post is, my immediate thoughts is someone was trying to scare us. So now he's trying to say, he's like trying to lessen the severity of it. But we have a security gate, armed guards, possible this deterred something more serious. So now he's acting like it wasn't a threat. You know what I mean? Do you see what I'm saying here? Like there's no, and it just happens to be the next morning after Milo's bombshell on his show, and also while he's been saying all week, actually said during that show that his numbers are down as a result from him criticizing Candace Owens. So it's just convenient, right? So maybe something did happen out there and he just embellished it or exaggerated a little bit, and it was convenient to suit his needs. But I just, you know what I mean? Like,
well, I would caution people about assuming that the guy who called had the right county, because like I said, Tim lives very rurally, so it could have.
It's different. It's different, Clint, to the one he's tagged his location on. If you go to the next postage. Yeah, if you go to the next post diligent, the one that he says that they were in contact with the FBI, the police, and the Chicken City Post, you'll see his location, which is different from the one that the gentleman sent in the video to the sheriff's office.
Is the location in the same county?
I don't think it is. I'm looking it up now on Wiki. I don't think it is, but
I can answer for everyone. If you guys would like to know. So first of all, I didn't know he lived in Harper's Ferry. But that's literally like a rock stone from where I live. So I was really, as soon as that's the first time I've heard the recording of the guy calling the police. I want to avoid,
like even though it's public, I don't want to call it out in my space because I don't want to drive him crazy to where he lives. So we can just be general, if you could.
Yeah, I'll just say about the call, because I don't know where he's like. I'm just going off of that people say Harper's Ferry, but I know Harper's Ferry very well.
You're not cute. I don't think you're picking up what I'm saying. Can you just say I live near him? Like, do you get what I'm saying? Quit saying it.
Yeah.
I don't want crazies to go to his house.
Well, what I was going to say is for Harper's Ferry itself, not his house.
Okay.
I see what you're saying.
What the fuck is going on here?
I'm misreading.
Clint, am I being okay?
For that
area
near mine.
Thank you.
There is sorry, I wasn't understanding it. It was interesting. As soon as I heard it on the recording, there was a man killed on the mountain, and the sheriff's office responded because of the shots fired. So I just want to say that's legitimate. As far as that county of the call itself, it's a very unique county because of it's like one of those areas here in, whether you live in Virginia or Maryland.
So can you look at the post that tweet that news on X is referring to on Tim's timeline that has the location?
Just confirm if it's in the same county.
Confirm if that town is in the same county without reading it out loud.
Yeah, I'll try to look real quick. What I was going to say though,
it is the second post about the shooting, I believe. Is that correct? News?
Yeah. Clinton's just confirmed that, right, Clint?
Well, I'm sorry. Confirm what?
Did you confirm anything about the location?
Did you confirm that he was in the same county? The one on his post. Sorry, I'm on time.
No. I haven't even looked at the post. That's just my guess as to why the guy called and didn't get any sort of report.
So, Catherine, it's the first or the second post that he made about the shooting, where he's describing the event. If you click on it, if you open it, it'll.
Okay, I'm opening it.
And then it shows posted, tweeted from this location, and then you should be able to know if that town is in your county.
I don't see that. I was going to say in relation to what the other gentleman was saying that's been out there to his property. It's unique because it's up against a different state, and so where the city is, the city actually it crosses over to a different state. So if you live in that state, the only county that's in that little nook of that state is that specific county. And if you live further away from that area, in the more rural areas, it does become a different county, but it's way further out because of that uniqueness of it. It's a different state. So if he says he lives in X state, and that's the city that he lives in or the area, because I'm in a very similar situation where I live in the town that I live in. In my county are the same, but I don't live in the city. So there's not another.
I've just DM'd you, Catherine. Anyway, if you look at that post, I've just DM'd you. But again, I'm confusing is right. I'm not trying to get to the point of where he is. My point being is Tim has been very careful over the years and stated
that location thing is not showing anymore.
Okay.
Is it for real?
Yeah,
I don't see it. Yeah. The point
I remember. Oh, there it is. I see it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I got it. Yep. It is the second post about that issue that I was talking about.
Can
or
I
the
take
third.
a letter
I'm saying it's the third. It's the third. I got you. I'm gonna DM you right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I've DM'd you Catherine already, but again, just to say, I'm not trying to put him on a docs route. I'm trying to say he's never added a location to a post before, and he's been and spoken about it multiple times about saying we're very careful about protecting where we are, specifically because of things that have happened in the past. So why would you add your location? I think that's a valid point, right?
Yeah, I can't answer that. That's very unusual. I'll grant you that, and I don't know why he would have done it. So I don't have an answer for that.
Could he be on a massive troll, Clint? This is kind of what I'm leading to. Is this a massive troll? Given the podcast with Milo and George Santos the other day, have you heard that?
I don't think that was reputationally damaging to Tim. So I mean, that was devastating for Benny
Johnson. Why did he need to call Benny Johnson and apologize?
Well, because he didn't basically challenge Milo on what he had to say, and he's friends with Benny.
Okay, I will say that I am pretty sure that is a different county. I didn't see who the county said it was at the beginning of the call.
Can you look that up and find out?
Yeah, let me see.
That's what I'm saying. And let me just say, we're going to find out one way or the other, or you guys are going to find out. I'm not so much interested in this. I just wanted to say, or chime in, because, I've known Tim for years now. I've never known him to be, a fraudster in that way. So I'd be shocked, personally. So that's just my understanding.
Clint, I personally don't have anything against him. I am trolling him a little bit because he's been so hard on not just Candace, but anybody who has been.
He's been hard on my whole camp, dude. I get it. I strongly disagree with narrative.
Yeah, and so to make an unsupported claim like that with convenient timing, you deserve a little bit of trolling.
I get it. I totally understand.
I would never wish that he actually deal with anybody like taking shots at his property or anything. Like, I don't condone any of that shit. You know what I mean? And I wouldn't want to give away the camera shot and you were out and somebody from your team texted you and said, hey, somebody just took shots at the property, yada, yada, yada. I would have posted a redacted screenshot, anything, especially if you had me out here trolling you and it was going viral. I would have posted something. He didn't. So I was like, dude, you're giving Candace a hard time. You're giving anybody who is questioning this narrative, this bullshit fucking fed narrative, you're giving them all a hard time. So, I wouldn't expect anything different.
That's exactly why I wanted to hop up in here, because it's like I'm with Tim on that, and I'm basically Team Candace on that topic. So, but that doesn't mean that, Tim is a bad person.
It doesn't mean he's wrong. It doesn't mean he's bad, but why is he wrong, right? Here's the question. It begs the question. I outed Poso for blatantly lying about.
Yeah, I saw that.
Did you see that? Okay, so why is that happening? Why are the
different
new
show.
media? Well, it's not just a different one. It's all of them. They are all telling you to accept the Fed swap narrative, and they are not only doing that, they're disparaging anyone who is not swallowing the Fed swap narrative. Why are they all doing it?
Let me give you my opinion, because I don't know Posobiec and I don't know Betty Johnson, but I know Tim well. My read of Posobiec is different from Tim. Like, I think Tim has been honest enough to at least acknowledge that, like, yeah, the security failed. He doesn't understand why the rooftop wouldn't have been covered. He wouldn't understand why they would rely on local PD when you hire private security. What the fuck are you doing? Like, so Tim has been more critical of this narrative, and in fact, in the first month after the attack, he was significantly more open about it. And then he shifted really dramatically when Candace went after TPUSA hard. And I think my personal read of Tim's shift on this is that he's genuinely nervous about the Democrats getting back in power and starting to imprison, like they did Steve Bannon and shit. Like, that's what he's been saying over and over again. And I think that's a genuine concern of his. As for Posobiec, he's Navy intelligence. I just don't trust the guy, if I'm being totally honest. And then Benny Johnson, I don't know for shit, but I've never been a fan. So that's my read, and I think there are different motivations for people.
Even fucking Fuentes is pushing this narrative. Hold on, Kevin. I want to get your take on that, because even Fuentes, right? We have the text messages about Israel in the days leading up to Charlie Yes.
I know everything about it. I know.
And so why is Fuentes, out of all fucking people, being like, no, you're gonna suck this narrative from the Fed, and if you don't, then you're a conspiracy theorist, you're a retard, and you should shut the fuck up. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I get it. All right. Well, as I said, I have a very nuanced view on all of these people. I don't know Nick, but I do know Dave Smith really well. And, I won't go into details as to our private conversations, but, like, my read on a lot of the skepticism when it comes to the Israel angle, especially for people that are critical of Israel and very high profile, which I am fortunately not.
I think you're misunderstanding my point, though.
No, I'm not.
Hold on. Well, because it's not the Israel. Well, it's like a missed opportunity for him, I think. But that's why I brought it up. But it's the acceptance of the Fed.
I understand, but let me finish the point. You'll see exactly what I'm saying. So my read is that it's a very scary thing for someone like Nick Fuentes, given his prominence and his extremely, fiery rhetoric against Israel, to go along with the narrative that Israel took out Charlie Kirk because he was like, that's a reality that I don't think Nick Fuentes wants to accept. So you can go down the path of him being like, all right, he's a Fed, he's controlled op, whatever, or it could just be that he's like mentally blocking it because he's scared, because it's a scary fucking thing. And I think that that's a distinct possibility. Is that because, like, when you hear him talking about it, he doesn't know fucking anything about it. It's like he has completely turned a blind eye to that entire assassination. Like, he doesn't know anything about it. If he were to sit down with me or Ian Carroll or you or anybody, he would get trounced because he doesn't know fucking anything about it. So I think it's just coming from a place of ignorance, and also he's got tremendous vitriol between he and Candace. And I think that he's just like, because he was saying, like, I saw it tonight when that viral clip of Tim going ballistic happened, Nick responded, Tim W, like Tim Pool with a win. And I'm like, oh yeah, you don't actually care about this at all. It's just like, you despise Candace. So
he said multiple times, you're absolutely spot on. Fuentes has said recently, he says, sometimes when he's researching and looking into stuff, he literally said, this shit scares me when I go and look into the stuff. And it scares him because some of the things that he's researching and he discusses on his show, he doesn't want it to be true. Effectively, I'm saying that paraphrasing. But he has said, when he looks into this stuff, this shit scares him. He said it about when he was looking into J.D. Vance. Exactly, thank you. He said it when he was looking into Tucker, and then obviously he's basically blown Tucker off there. He can't stand it.
Well, okay, but that's fine. But it's just weird that it's happening with all of them all at once for whatever various reason, right? There is no. Here's the common denominators. There's no desire of there's no curiosity. There's no skepticism. There's no challenge. Like all of the things that a lot of these people are known for is just for some reason it's just gone. And not only is there no desire to explore, there's no curiosity, there's no challenge. The challenge actually goes to those who aren't buying into it. Right, and that's the consistent thing. It doesn't matter if it's Fuentes or Poso or Benny Johnson or even Tim Pool, at least for the last few weeks. It doesn't. I don't know, man. It's just fucking weird, right? It is just weird.
No disagreement with that, man. I did a full episode basically dedicated to this topic just a few days ago, and Tim in particular. And I'm bothered by it. I really don't like the lack of curiosity when it comes to this case. And here's the other thing that I try and always remind myself: they actually knew Charlie well, and I think that for them, it's a much scarier thing. It's a much more personal thing. I had met Charlie, but I wasn't friends with him by any stretch. And it's so for me, all I care about is the macro. I want there to be justice. I don't want to live in a country where political assassinations, particularly political commentators, happens and the guilty get away with it. So that's my entire focus. I think for these guys, a lot of it's self-preservation. They're scared to death. That's my honest opinion. But then there's also the angle of some of these dudes are genuinely controlled opposition. Like I said about Posobiec, that's my vibe on that guy.
100%.
So I think that yes, they're all
glaring with him, right? It's fucking glaring with him.
Yeah, but I say that after him spreading a lot of obvious misinformation, egregious misinformation. Tim hasn't done that. Tim approaches this, in my opinion, from a place of ignorance, and I say that respectfully. He just genuinely does not know the valid things that Candace has brought forward, or that I have, or anybody else that's been studying this case. And there's a lot of really valid shit that people ought to be parsing out and thinking about.
I agree with that, but I think that's whenever you step in and you say, I am ignorant to this, instead of giving an opinion, you say, I don't know, I haven't looked in it. And then that is authentic. Pushing the federal narrative whenever you have not looked into it and you're pushing that agenda anyway is very inauthentic and is why they are losing their viewership. We would respect them so much more if they're I haven't had the time to study it. That's not my niche. I'm working on something else.
Well, and I think it's even worse than that because, it's not their niche, but who gives a fuck? This is their friend. This is their colleague. This is super important. And it's important that they know what's going on with this, regardless of whether or not they want to come out and dedicate their show to it like Candace has, or dedicate their lives to researching it like most of us have. It's okay, fine, but then don't get mad at the people who are. Thank them for actually digging and trying to make sure that your friend and colleague gets justice, including his family and his children. So that's my grievance against him, despite him being one of my friends, is that I think that he is really misguided in this. And that's what the whole point of my episode was, is all right, you don't have to be doing what I'm doing, but please shut up. Please let us work.
How frequent is it that they're all misguided in the same point? And you know what I mean? It's just there's too much alignment between various folks that fit into a certain box within. And I'm not trying to as I was covering Trump last year in the election, these guys were all very close to the campaign. Poso, Tim Pool. Okay, I was at a couple of events where they spoke. I met them both. Right, they spoke at the same events. They were keynote speakers. So it's just strange. You know what I mean? I feel like this is a close to the administration thing. All of these fuckers are close to the administration. Benny Johnson, extremely close to the administration. Crowder, right? Tim Pool, Jack Posobiec, even Crowder. Okay, you have Nick Fuentes going on a show the other day. Do you see what I'm saying here? There's a club feel to this, and that's.
I agree.
Let him respond.
Yeah, well, I've always felt like some of these guys, as I said earlier, some of them are legitimately script reading propagandists for the regime. Like, that's what some of them are. I don't think that Tim is that. I think that Tim is, because he wants to have proximity to power. He wants to have one of his reporters in the White House briefing room.
Access.
He wants access, so he plays nice. And I'm like full on burn everything to the ground radical, and I'm just, he and I are different in that way. So that's
Candace just retweeted your post, Clint.
Wait, what?
Candace just retweeted you.
Which post?
And she said, I cannot explain it, but I sense that this isn't actually about me and that Tim Pool is under tremendous financial pressure. Men have a certain way when they are under economic pressure, and I feel like he's just lashing out, and I happen to be here. So she kind of gave him some grace there.
Yeah, well, and let me add to that, because I think she's right, but not for a highly conspiratorial reason. The whole new way, and if anybody wants to get the full, elaborate explanation of my feelings on this, my episode last week about Tim really does so. But
can you throw in the Jumbotron, Clint?
I don't even know how, dude.
I'll do it.
I appreciate that.
Did you hear that Tim Pool called Candace the C word on the show tonight? And so
there's a rant there. I'm going to listen to it. I want him to comment on what Noxie was just saying about Candace, though. Go ahead and continue, Clint. Sorry.
Yeah. So, and this is just to shorten my point from that episode. I think that if you look at who's ascendant over the past 2 years, since the war in Gaza began, it's like Tucker Carlson, Dave Smith, Nick Fuentes, Candace Owens. It's all of the people who are either really hyper Israel critical or at least Israel skeptical. Ian Carroll, my numbers have increased a lot, and I think that like the people who are the old guard, the people that were the most prominent in 2020, they all rejected that wave because they recognize that it's a advertiser killer, it's a relationship killer, it removes you from proximity to the White House, so they all want to maintain that.
It's the establishment.
Yes, but as a consequence of that, they are hemorrhaging viewers and listeners. So when Candace says that she sees him lashing out because of financial stress, I think that's absolutely true, is that he's got this huge operation and his viewership is down, and it's panic mode.
But it's not because of Candace, it's because of credibility.
Well, I'm not blaming on Candace at all. I'm explaining exactly why. I think the numbers are down for all these guys. Shapiro's the same way. Daily Wire is imploding. It's like everybody who's a pro-Israel partisan, or even Tim, who tries to stay on the fence about it, is just hemorrhaging viewers because the viewers don't want us to be lying. They want us to be telling the truth. Like Israel is acting like a psychopath.
Diligent seems to think that the reason the base is divided is not because of the Israeli issue; it's because of Epstein or
I gave my personal anecdotal.
Epstein's a big factor.
Yeah, I gave my anecdotal experience as somebody who was in the heart of the MAGA movement all last year. And I'm telling you that Israel was not a talked about issue, right? It wasn't. And up until, and I know that a lot of people do have opinions on issue, but I'm just saying the divide did not happen for me anyways until Epstein had Israel is related to it, but Epstein was the core issue. And Israel maybe. Go ahead.
You and I have hashed this out in the past. I think Epstein is totally tied to the Israel issue. So
no, I know that he's involved with Israel, but I'm saying what they were trying to tell me last night, and this is relevant to the topic, that the divide within the MAGA movement and the Republican Party is mostly because of Israel, and I think that's wrong. I think Israel may be a factor, but the main divide is over the issue of pedophiles running the country, and then also the cover-up, and then the following cover-up of Charlie Kirk, and then a bunch of unkept promises alongside of that aren't as important to the people.
Well, you're certainly right that Israel is not the number one thing for all Trump supporters. I'm not saying that, but I will say I think that what it has become is a signifier of honesty. like, are you capable of being critical of Israel's egregious actions at times? And if you aren't, then why the fuck am I listening to you? And I think, that's what Ben Shapiro...
It's a litmus test.
Yeah, it's a litmus test. And Ben Shapiro failed it because he's like literally a paid propagandist for a foreign country. And then all these guys are, quasi that. Tim is not that, though. Like, that's the one thing I'm really confident about, is that Tim is independent. However, Tim wants to maintain proximity to the White House. And if you want to maintain proximity to the White House and have one of your people in the fucking press briefing room, well, then you're going to have to just eat shit when it comes to talking about Israel. So that's my read on it. And it bums me out because I really feel like everybody ought to be just telling the truth.
It almost feels like the Charlie Kirk thing has become the new litmus. It is. The Charlie Kirk thing is the new litmus test, right?
For some people.
Well, I mean, for Americans.
Well, the reason I'm saying for some people is that, like, Fuentes is going hard with the regime narrative on that, and a lot of his, diehard Groyper audience doesn't give a fuck. They love the guy.
But a lot of them do. Like, a lot of them do as well.
Sure.
He said that this was the most unpopular opinion he's ever taken. And if he's saying that, it's because he's getting that feedback from his own audience. Wouldn't you agree?
Of course, and that's great. And I think that's exactly why he went so ballistic on Ian Carroll, because he's like, yeah, this is a weak point in my my armor, kicking the armor. So yeah, I think that, and that's my whole point with all these people is like, look, don't look at your numbers and just get mad. Actually look in the mirror and ask yourself, what am I not doing? What am I not being, like, inquisitive enough about, honest enough about? Yeah, it's out of touch, but I think it's also just, like, it's relational. Like, they have relationships to power that make it very hard for them to actually tell the truth about certain topics that their audiences care deeply about, and I just don't have that fucking issue. So, good for me. Sucks for them.
I didn't know that, Dave. I've been canceled like 3 times this year. I haven't given a fuck. Just keep going. And it seems like the people who just kept on shilling the narrative are all scrambling right now. It does seem like they're kind of panicking. All of this shit, it's very panicky. Go ahead, Uncommon.
Yeah, I'm
going to play the clip here in a second, too. Your clip. Go ahead, Uncommon.
I wanted to say something real quick, because I do feel like Nick's he's catching some... I feel like he's catching some arrows, and I'm going to be that guy that I guess defends him for whatever reason. But I do disagree with his opinion on Charlie Kirk, but I do think it is a mischaracterization to say that he's out there pushing the narrative for the government. What's happening is people ask him his opinion, and he says, I don't think there's enough evidence for me to believe anything other than the government opinion. He's not saying, I mean, compare him to Jack Posobiec, it's not the same thing. Jack is posting about transfers every day. Nick is literally doing his own thing. He's not really pushing the narrative, but he just says, I don't believe the story. And if you actually watch a show or have watched different things about a show, he's gone back and forth on it. He has literally said, like, he did a whole episode where he went through the reporting and talked about the Israeli money and said he wanted to see more things. And he's like, yeah, some of these text messages are, like, pretty wild. And but he's also obviously had personal issues with Candace. And frankly, Candace does get in over her head sometimes and does say things that are legitimately foolish. So
he did say to Crowder today that he thinks Tyler Robinson did it. That's a pretty declarative statement.
He said, as it stands now, I believe Tyler Robinson did it. That doesn't mean I think 100% it's Tyler Robinson. As it stands now, and that was after Crowder asked him. He's not going on a tour saying, hey guys, this is what's actually happening.
My point is, why not just say, I don't know?
He is going on a tour. He's been.
I mean, do you guys know for sure who did it?
No, I don't. That's why I would say I don't know.
Well, I agree, but I mean, it's also not crazy to say, as it stands, I'm going to go with this because I haven't been convinced of anything else. I mean, I disagree with his opinion.
He literally said, dude, he won't even acknowledge the fact that Kirk was moving away from his pro-Israel position. He completely ignores those text messages.
No, that's not true. He's gone over at different points to different things.
I'm going by what I heard yesterday.
He's gone back and forth on it. I agree with you. He has acknowledged it, but then when he's trying to attack Ian Carroll, he conveniently leaves out the fact, well, what changed from September 7th to September 11th? And it's like, well, September 9th, he was texting saying that I have no choice but to look at the pro-Israel cause, and then the day after that,
later, he's fucking dead.
well, and then the day after that, according to Candace, he's also texting his top security, Flood, Dan Flood, as well as other members of TPUSA, saying, I'm going to get killed tomorrow. So it's like, if she's right about that, that's a huge fucking deal.
Yeah, and we have the message from Harrison Smith saying, I've been told privately. I generally agree with you guys, but I am saying, like, if you look at it objectively, to lump Nick in with Tim Pool.
I'm not saying that's the same thing.
I do think that's the characterization that I'm hearing. Is like he's pushing this. Diligent's certainly doing that.
Well, yeah, because it's true. They are all saying the same thing. Okay?
No, they aren't.
Oh, hold on. There is a consistent message here. 1, Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk. 2, if you challenge that, you are a conspiracy theorist. He's saying conspiracy theorist. All the other ones are saying conspiracy theorists. Andy NGO is saying conspiracy theorists, right? And so, again, it's not just the fact that they are accepting the Fed narrative. It is also that they are disparaging those who are not accepting the Fed narrative. So, I mean, I would like to agree with you, but the fact of the matter is that he is doing those things. So,
let me ask you this: how many?
Tim Pool's doing it, that Benny Johnson's doing it, and NGO is doing it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you have to accept that.
How many episodes or deep dives or things about Nick can you give examples of him talking about MK Ultra or intelligence operations or things like? I feel.
What is that? How many examples of me talking about this?
I'm saying like you're comparing him to Ian Carroll or somebody or Candace Owens who literally talks about that stuff all the time.
Never discussed those things, but he's still talking about it. Like, what do you mean?
I'm saying that it's not his wheelhouse in general. He doesn't do like deep dive conspiracies. He talks about international Jewish power and geopolitical situations.
Well, since this has massive geopolitical ramifications and implications, why would he take a position on it at all? Listen, I know the dude is extremely intelligent. He's articulate. He's an excellent debater, right? Why would you take a vocal position on it at all if you were not educated? Like, every time I've heard him make arguments, they're usually supported by statistics or facts that he can cite, historical facts or statistics that people can look up. But when it's about this particular subject, he is taking a position and then using straw man arguments. I listened to it today. He's using straw man arguments. He's using ad hominem attacks. He's using non sequiturs, right? And he is a debater. He's a professional one. He knows exactly what these strategies are whenever you're not defending a case, a position on the merits, right? So why is that?
I mean, there is also he could be a little bit blinded by the personal beef with Candace, and he just doesn't trust Candace. And let's be frank, Candace is the main one pushing the opposite direction and presenting the other evidence. So I'm not saying that makes him right or wrong, but I just don't think he's out there like pushing the government narrative for himself. Like he's just authentically, I think, who he is. He tells you whatever the hell's on his mind. Whether he's right or wrong about the Charlie Kirk thing, I think time will tell. I think he'll probably end up being wrong, but we'll see.
He called Ian Carroll a retard. It's not my fault that he's saying the same, right or wrong thing that Tim Pool, that all of the other ones are saying. So, like, to say that I'm mischaracterizing it by saying, hey, he's aligning with these people isn't wrong. He is aligning with those people on this position, and he's doing so without presenting evidence as to why that's his position. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and there is no evidence to back that angle up, which is what makes it so hard. Which is why, I actually disagreed with Ian a little bit because, it did come across like he was saying, "Hey, Nick, where you at? Like, come be in our camp where we think that Israel was behind this." And like from my vantage point, what I would like to see from Nick is just genuine curiosity and an open mind, and him saying,
"That's what bothers me."
Like, I don't know. I just don't know. I have, like, as you said on his stream, he knows about the text messages. He knows about certain things that should give him pause. And yet, when he's on with Steven Crowder, it's like the litmus test for being accepted in the Con Inc. is like, are you just going to fucking eat the Fed slop and say Tyler Robinson did it when you don't actually know? And he did. He said that. And I'm like, why? Why are you doing that? That's just strange to me. Because Tyler may have done it, but you definitely don't know, and Nick doesn't know, and I don't know, and it's just like, what the fuck? It's weird.
He keeps getting on shows, though. Then he went on Pierce. I think that's kind of why and plus he might have got called on that shit, bro. Like, he's a high profile. I mean, I know, like, even Ian was saying he was shook that day. I think it was in your space or Mazes. But I don't know. I was expecting the Israel thing too, dude.
I mean, is there, okay, if there is such a threat on these people, right, about speaking honestly about the largest assassination in this millennium in American politics, then we have a serious fucking problem where the media is afraid to to report accurately or to hold any kind of scrutiny or curiosity. That's terrifying. That's terrifying in general, not just, it's terrifying to speak out about it, but it's terrifying for where our country's at, right? Like,
yeah, that's terrifying. Well, and for the record, I think I'm right. Like, I don't think I'm just, fear mongering about this. If you actually listen to these guys, and I know a lot of them, if you actually listen to them even publicly when they talk about it, when they're not screaming about Candace Owens, they're talking about how, MTG resigned or retired because she was afraid for her life, and how all these political commentators are afraid for their life, and how Tucker Carlson's getting a house in Qatar, and he's got a house in the middle of fucking nowhere because he's afraid for his life. Like, I think genuinely that there is a massive threat against all of these people, and I think that some of them, like Candace, are crazy enough to just say, I don't care. I'm going to tell the truth. I want to make sure that there's justice for Charlie, and I want to fucking stop these people dead in their tracks. And then a lot of other people make the very conscious decision to go, I don't know what happened, but I'm not going to fucking dig into this because I don't want to end up like Charlie. Like, that's my honest opinion as to how a lot of these people view it.
Hey, Dylan, I wanted to introduce Adam the Angler or whatever. And speaking of that, he's the one.
He's been in my spaces before. You don't need to introduce him.
Okay. Well, okay, because he had the cops call. They came to his fucking house.
Adam, are you sure you had the right person, the right county when you called? Okay, we'll come back to you. Catherine, were you able to confirm?
Yeah, based upon the post that you shared with me, it's not the same county. You'd have to call other counties, so
the location that Tim Poole shared when he was making a post the other day, Adam, the town that he was posting from, because he shared that publicly on a post, which seems like it's probably intentional. It doesn't match where you called. So
sorry, I'm here, by the way. So I've had someone tell me that they think it was Berkeley County.
Yeah, so I'm trying not to be announcing the town or county where it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry about that. But anyways, yeah, I did have someone tell me that. I mean, to be honest, I would love for the FBI to call me back. Or just make a statement maybe publicly. Like, they made a statement for Benny. Why not for Tim? Especially because he's got a press pass,
Yeah, it is weird. And Tim could have presented at least some kind of when you file a police report, they give you a police report number that can be independently verified for press, and press can also get it. You know what I mean? There's ways that he could verify that he.
Oh yeah.
Baby the chicken coop cam, Diligent. You're asking for way too much.
He put the address out there. Or the county, like he put that out for public
He put the town in the state.
Oh, no, bro. No.
All right. The other thing as well, just to add on that very specific point, Imogen, he also said, again, this is added to the episode with George Santos and Milo. He said, Candice said that she had her lawyers at the same offices as that place in where is it, Delaware, right? He said, he said, I've got loads of businesses. He said, I guarantee, if you ever go and try and find them, they will never have Tim Hall business. He said, I've got all these names that are registered and purposely protected to try and save privacy and security.
Any public figures usually use an LLC.
So if somebody
any public figure usually uses an LLC to try and maintain their privacy. Like, that's very common. Okay, lots of people do that. I want to listen to the clip of him losing it on Candace.
Let me just say real quick. I got that clip quote tweeted by Candace and replied to by Tim. So I'm right in the middle of all this. Just happened.
We'll do that in a second. All right, here's the clip.
Organization that's rallying young people, causing a shift in the political leanings of a generation for the first time in history, is now in dire straits. Their leader and founder murdered, and prominent pieces of human trash are trying to destroy it. It's fucking evil. So you know what? When someone pulls in front of my property and fires on it several times, I'm sitting here looking at these vile pieces of shit and thinking to myself, for what purpose will I stick my neck out if this is what happens if Charlie Kirk is killed? Candace Owens is a fucking evil scumbag. She is a degenerate cunt. She is burning everything down, and she's gloating and smiling while she does it. And you fucking told me she has no security. She doesn't fucking deal with the shit we have to deal with. She's a piece of shit. She's making everyone else suffer. And all of these fucking conservatives out there that send me these fucking messages have no fucking balls to call her out. More and more people have started doing it. They send me these fucking messages. Good for you, Tim. Good for you, Tim. I wasn't the first person to do it. I'm not going to take credit for that. But don't fucking DM me like I did something for you as you fucking cower, scared that she'll put you on her thumbnail and claim you benefited from Charlie Kirk's assassination, which she's doing to me right fucking now.
Yeah, that was the.
I'm fucking done with these people.
She has security just on the level of you.
Oh yeah, the one fat guy you mentioned with no wall and no barrier in a suburban neighborhood with neighbors. She doesn't give two fucking shits. No one's out for her. She's lying about all of this. You told me you went to her house and she's got a 4-foot wall and one fat guy, and she doesn't give a shit about her security. Meanwhile, I get bullets fired at my fucking property, and I have to go live in the middle of nowhere. And I got fucking strangers coming up to my house in Maryland, breaking in. I got people showing up and beating up the residents who try to live there. How the fuck am I even supposed to sell this property? And it's all lies, it's all hypocrisy, and it is for the purpose of making money. And she does not live the way other people live. And she claims she liked Charlie, she loved Charlie, and she is burning everything down that he built because she is evil. She is evil. And I'll say it again, this conservative movement is fractured, it's fraud, whatever it is. Okay? Republicans are on track to lose the midterms. They were actually trending the other direction until Charlie Kirk was murdered.
Yeah.
And this is the point, isn't it? The most effective political assassination in history, and thanks to the likes of the vile cunt Candace Owens, she has turned turning point into the perpetrators of the crime that was against them. Organization.
What do you mean by that? The most effective political assassination. What does that mean? That's a weird.
No, he said organization.
No, he did not. He said, I'll
trash, ever it is.
I think that
Okay.
Hold on.
Republicans are on track to lose the midterms. They were actually trending in the other direction until Charlie Kirk was murdered. Yeah. And this is the point, isn't it? The most effective political assassination in history, and thanks to
the most effective political assassination in history.
Okay, yeah. I understand. I think he means it in the sense that it has destroyed the entire right wing because he thinks that Charlie was holding it together. I don't agree with that, by the way. But
it's a weird statement. It's a weird fucking statement to make.
A lot of people have said it though.
Effective. Well, I mean, it's the reason why it's being. I disagree. If it was truly a martyr of the left, we would be unified. But it's clearly that's not the case.
right? Which is why it's falling apart. And all of the shit that he's listing off, it's due to all of them not acknowledging that fact. The fallout is not Candace. She is a symptom of the problem, right? And so are they. Like that is.
But the way they view it is the inverse. Is that I'm not saying they're right. I'm just explaining their perspective. If imagine for a second that you genuinely believe Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk, then you're looking at Candace going, "You're the one dividing the right." And then all of us that are on the other side going, "I don't think Tyler Robinson did it, or he certainly didn't work alone." Then we go, it's Tim Pool and it's Benny Johnson and it's Posobiec who are dividing the right. So that's the split is like this. Basically, whichever way you come down on who's responsible is how you feel about who's dividing, who's not.
I feel like it's Trump.
So I want to real quick before we continue on, and he's part of it for sure. I'm going to read. So Candace responded. It says this: "I cannot explain it, but I sense that this isn't actually about me, and that Tim Pool is under tremendous financial pressure. Men behave a certain way when they are under economic pressure, and I feel like he's just lashing out. And I happen to be here." And then she says in a following comment, "On that note, I genuinely hope that whatever it is, he gets through it, but I can guarantee that blaming the future 2026 GOP midterm results on Candace Owens is not the solution." And then you said that he replied, what did he say back?
He just shared a screenshot because he's really upset because she put out an episode today that said who benefited from Charlie Kirk's assassination. In the thumbnail, she included Tim Pool, and I think that was pretty below the belt. So this guy Antunes put a screenshot of all of the millions of views that she's had on her last 20 episodes talking about the Charlie Kirk assassination, and basically he's countering with, she's the one that's profited from this, not me.
They all have, really. You know what I mean? Like everybody who's talking about it has seen an increase in numbers because people care about it. So like even me, you know, some of my most viral posts in the last month have been about Charlie Kirk. But it doesn't mean that the caring about the issue isn't genuine. It's because
I completely agree. But if you're in their camp where they genuinely believe the Fed narrative, then it's like, all right, well then these people are just profiting off of clickbait, conspiracy drivel, and they don't actually believe in anything they're saying. The issue is that I think if you actually talk to these people, like
you know him, Clint, do you think that he genuinely believes the Fed narrative?
Jack Post, right? I mean,
I don't. I think Jack.
I'm talking about Tim.
Jack may. I think Tim doesn't know. That's my honest opinion as to it. But he has basically come down on the side of defending TPUSA because he just views himself as like basically being in like the entire conservative commentating space. Their job is to help the Republicans stay in power, and I just disagree with that entirely. I think our job is to tell the
hold them accountable
and to hold them up to their promises. And that's my major grievance with Tim over the past 6 months is that I just feel like he is trying to defend the Trump administration against what should be genuine inquisitions and genuine anger, and that's not our job, dude.
But it just feels like that outrage. It feels kind of to me. It seemed kind of like performative. Yeah.
Well, maybe, but he's also. I think he is genuinely. Like that's why I actually agree with Candace's post because I watched IRL tonight because I knew it was going to be fireworks and what he said was, and he's been saying this for days now, is that the security threats that he's under have put such a financial burden on him because. It's a totally different thing. People need to understand too. Candace Owens runs a very small operation. Tim runs a major operation with guests, like new guests coming in every night that they have to fly in, the security, the booking, the costs, the everything, and then to have threats against him and his organization increases the cost of security. We're talking probably millions per year. So he is under immense financial stress. So I think Candace is right about that. That's just my guess. I don't know for sure, but I think that's true.
He buys billboards.
This is only a small team of 4.
Tim Pool buys billboards in Chicago. You see his face on major billboards in Chicago, maybe because he's from the Chicagoland area. But the history of him with Joe Rogan and when he was calling out that former Twitter lawyer, I mean, he is a legacy. But to me, this seems performative. Like, this is drama 101. Like, it's all fake news, and he's just creating clickbait.
It seemed like he was hinting at it. I called it out when it happened. He started taking pot shots at Candace unnecessarily. Like, he's done this to himself, right? He started taking pot shots at her, and then he was kind of like walking around it. He's like, well, if you look at conservatives on YouTube and you look at their numbers right now, all of their numbers are down. And then you look at Candace and her numbers are up. And in the background, we all know why. And he's like,
and it's not just Candace, dude. Look at Tucker, look at Nick, look at Dave, look at Ian Carroll. I mean, you go across the
people who are willing to fucking go against the establishment narrative are popular.
Yeah, I've doubled in size over the past 90 days on YouTube. It's pretty crazy, and it's just because like all of these mainstream conservative commentators are unwilling to touch it, and if they are willing to touch it, it's to, in my opinion, to lie about it, to not tell any semblance of the truth as to what's really going on here. And I think that they're all suffering as a consequence of it. But that's not Candace's fault. That's not my fault. That's not Tucker's fault. That's not Ian Carroll's fault. That's on them.
You want to be the new establishment media, and you are.
Right. Exactly. So now you get treated like Fox News because you're fucking peddling bullshit like Fox News. Like, sorry.
It's even worse, I think, because there is a gaslighting occurring here with the so-called new media that doesn't happen with the legacy media, right? Like, it's the attacks on. Oh, we lost him. There is a gaslighting that occurs aimed at other outlets and creators that doesn't happen on the legacy news. But we'll go through some hands.
On the truth, bro.
It is. Zintani, do you have something like it has to be serious, Zintani? I'm not doing comedy hour. Okay.
It is very important, but I will sustain myself.
Now's not the time. All right, thank you. Let's go down common. Go ahead.
I do agree, I guess, to the first comment that you guys were kind of getting at. I mean, I didn't even listen to I just saw that he was ranting and raving, and I'm somebody that's never watched Tim Pool. I've never cared about Tim Pool. Nothing against the man, but it reads to me, if I'm just giving a pulse check on it, it reads to me like something. It reads to me like somebody, almost like Ben Shapiro is at the Daily Wire. They have to become more extreme to get more views. And even Tucker, I think, actually is trying to get, like, that's why he's gone on Piers Morgan and yelling faggot 20 times. It's like, I don't think he would have done that 10 years ago. I mean, it seems like they're trying to compete with more outlandish content because that is what is going viral. But I did want to say one more thing about the Knicks thing, and then I'll move on from that. But I wanted to say that let's imagine you're sitting in Nick's position and you're looking at this and you're like, okay, maybe you don't know what happens. Maybe you're like, look at the risk versus reward. Let's say you do go to, hey, maybe Candace is onto something. There's a chance you're going to end up looking really foolish. We still have a trial coming up in January. We don't know what the FBI is withholding. We'll know a lot more by that point. Maybe. I mean, I agree that they've released a lot of
they're betting, but they're betting on the feds. That's what they're betting on.
It's not so much that, but if you listen to what Nick has actually said, he said it's funny that you say like some of these people are looking like they're not criticizing Israel or Jewish power as much. Nick hasn't relented from that line. You know what I mean? So I don't think it's like.
I never said that.
Well, I guess the implication is that some of the other podcast hosts
are. What I said was that I didn't say that was the common denominator between them at all. I said that the common denominator is that not only are they pushing the establishment narrative or the Fed narrative, they are disparaging other people. That wasn't one of the common denominators for me.
Well, anyway.
The only thing I said is that it struck me as odd, particularly about Nick, because he built his platform being critical of Israel, right? And here is a golden, I couldn't think of a sweeter layup, a sweeter
a straight-on pitch for him to knock that ball out of the park than right now with a tweet being released or a text being released of Charlie Kirk abandoning the pro-Israel position, and 2 days later he's fucking assassinated in front of all of us. That's a layup for his platform. That's why it struck me as odd.
Well, I mean, but what I'm saying is, what I'm getting at is, to a certain degree, I see what you're saying, but kind of not really, because we still don't know for sure that Israel did it. We know that there's a lot of implications.
Israel did it, but why not? Why would you not even?
Because there's a chance you're going to be wrong and you're going to look like an idiot. And why? Hold on. Let me.
I'm willing to talk about it, and I haven't taken that position.
But what I'm saying is that if you listen to what Nick said on his show, he says we don't have to second guess about Jewish power or things controlling our government. We can just watch what's happening. Look at the Warner Brothers and Paramount discovery and how, we can just look at, there's so much obvious stuff in front of us that we don't need to figure out, even if Israel did or didn't kill Charlie Kirk.
I'm not saying Israel killed Charlie Kirk, by the way.
Whatever, but that's the implication from the alternative theories.
No,
right?
What I'm saying is that it is to not even. Not only is he not acknowledging that there's a potential motive there.
I disagree that he hasn't acknowledged it. He did a whole episode on it.
But he kind of discounts it, right? It's not in
He's just gone back and forth. He's been wishy-washy on it.
Okay, well, even being wishy-washy on things is... But, I don't know. I'm just going by what I heard, yes.
But what I'm saying is, he's still just as critical of Israel and Jewish power as he ever has been. He's just not stepping into something that he thinks could be
they began the show on Crowder with a bunch of softball questions. Are you an anti-Semite? No. Are you perceived to be an anti-Semite? No. Like all of these. Mute your mic, John. Your mic's horrible, please. All of these pre-qualifying questions that were like softballs, and then they got into their conversation. You know what I mean? Like it was like it just feels like PR, right? It feels like PR. Like while he is also, selling the Fed narrative. Like I don't know, bro. It is just all of it smells off. I don't have anything against any of these people, other than that. It is very fucking odd to me that they are all simultaneously selling an indefensible position while at the same time attacking those who will not swallow the dick of the federal government right now.
Would you agree that it from his perspective, like in terms of risk reward, what does he have to gain by
this
saying,
is an X-Rays called New Media Crash Up. Benny Posa, Fuentes, and Fence Flop, Timmy Smollett.
What do you mean? He's on Crowder.
Yeah, exactly. Like, why does it? He's exposing other things that are.
You've been here for 4 days now, straight, wasting your time. Go to the gym and read a book.
Big fucking podcast that he didn't do before. Like, you don't think that?
Shut up about your face, Scarface. It's called a beauty mark now. You gotta stop sitting shiva on your face. The time of mourning is over. No more mourning in Scarface. You can't. It's not legally permissible anymore. We don't want to hear it. You are banned from repeating yourself.
My view is that Nick does on a nightly basis.
I don't know.
I just read an article, and since Charlie's death, Nick has been pushed, like, his mentions and everything are up 60% in mainstream media. And so by large accounts, the conservative movement, like, there's a drastic change since Charlie's death of them pushing Nick Fuentes to the forefront.
Who's they are pushing? You're saying like mainstream media? Who's like
CNN, ABC, Piers Morgan.
He's clipped and stuff everywhere, bro.
I mean, yeah, Piers Morgan basically tried to shake him down the entire time and played clips and told him how horrible he was, but then Piers just looked like an idiot. So I don't.
Bro, what are you talking about? People love him. Like the interview went great for him. It's just great PR, like this Diligence said.
Yeah, it's a PR run, right? It is a PR run, but what is happening in exchange, right? That's my point. Is that he is taking an extremely unpopular position while he is on this unprecedented mainstream PR run, right?
Why is he bad mouthing Tucker Carlson like a week or two after for calling him an anti-Semite afterwards if he wants to keep the relationship going?
Because Tucker Carlson took pot shots at him, and that's an ego thing, if I had to guess.
Yeah, and I agree, but if he's got some special deal where he's going to stay in the mainstream, Tucker Carlson's the biggest voice on the right.
If you are, I don't want to say Israel, but if you are the establishment, right? If you can have somebody that is not pro-Israel and is known for not being pro-Israel come in and mainstream them saying that
they've captured Gen Z. If they kill Charlie Kirk and they bring in Nick Fuentes, they have captured Gen Z on the right in America. Period. And that looks like exactly what's happening. That's exactly what's fucking happening. Okay, they control TPUSA and they are bringing Fuentes in. That's why we're talking about it. That's why it matters.
So, but why is it just doesn't follow though? Because like then Nick would be less critical of Israel and Jewish power and the people controlling Turning Point USA, but he's not.
So you don't think?
But listen.
But it doesn't.
It's always only certain things, right? I have talked about everything under the sun. But it wasn't until I talked about Epstein and wouldn't let it go that they came after me and tried to cancel me, and other people I know as well. Same thing with Charlie Kirk. It's the same thing. It is only certain.
We're gonna restart the live. Go back to the profile. Click the new live.
Or they want you to hold a certain position about. It's not gonna be your